it's Tracy Lizotte here today to share with you the next painting course to hit my online art academy. We are going to paint this adorable raccoon. Now, like all my paintings that I teach in the academy, I show you how to hand draw up your composition first. This is a great course in practicing your ability to use comparative measuring and figuring out where all those lines and shapes goes. I love comparative measuring because it is a really quick and easy way of finding your lines and shapes in the proper space in your composition. Now, it's a little tricky to learn at first, but once you get it down, you'll never go back to any other drawing method. It really streamlines things and it saves you from having to draw up a bunch of grids and using rulers. And this particular course is an excellent one to find measurements that you can use in figuring out where the eyes, the nose, the ears, where all the shapes go in your composition. I also show you how you can tweak the shapes to really capture a really fun personality in your little raccoon. So we can make him look like he's happy, like he's content, versus making him look like he's sad or angry. These are all emotions we can capture in the lines and shapes when we draw up the composition. And these lines and shapes are really important to have in place for when we add the paint. Now, when I teach you how to paint with watercolors, I always start with the method of going from background to foreground and light to dark. And with this particular course, I'm going to show you how to use wet and wet to just map in where all the basic colors go. It's loose and watery to start off with, and as we add layers, we're going to get more detailed with dry brush technique and really map it in where all the fur goes. So there's a lot of leeway here in creating your own raccoon, either loose and watery or getting super tight with dry brushing and putting in every single fur mark. And we're going to go over, ways of capturing both in your own painting. That way, you have options when working up the layers in your watercolor. And your painting of a raccoon will reflect your own style, which is what we all want to see in our artwork. And that's the best part of artwork. We can all paint the same thing, but no two things are actually alike if we do a really good job of following our own gut instinct and putting in our own personality in our artwork, which is what I always love to see and will always encourage and nurture in the artists that I help in the academy. So you can see here, as I add layer after layer of paint, I work my way throughout the entire composition. That way, it unifies the colors and the textures, and it makes it look like the whole composition belongs together. So as one area is drying, I will move on and work up the details in another area, and I work around and around my painting in this manner. And this is what I also coach and teach in the academy. Now, this painting gets a little bit tricky right around the second, third layer of paint because I decide to add some masking fluid to help me create some of the textures in the fur. I'm a big fan of using masking fluid to create the positive shapes, meaning I have to paint up the negative shapes. It's kind of like painting in reverse. It's a technique that is really unique to me in my watercolor art, and I do teach it in the academy, and you'll see it in a lot of the painting courses that are available for you to learn from. It's a really fun way of building up layers. So there's several things happening in this course. I'm showing you how to build up layers with wet and wet. I'm showing you how to build up layers with dry brushing. And I'm showing you how to build up layers with multiple layers of masking fluid. Now that gets revealed at the very end of this course. It's exciting to see how you can create layers with masking fluid in combination with the other techniques. Now in the academy, you have access to learn 15 different watercolor techniques. You don't have to use all 15 techniques in one painting, but you do have the options to use them when making a painting. And I show you my thought process when building up the layers in a painting, because a lot of it is problem solving and deciding what technique to use in what layer to create the ultimate effect you're looking for in the finished painting. And I walk you through my thought process and why I choose the technique at what time, because that's the other thing, is knowing what time in the painting to use a technique. Because if you paint it out of order, you're not going to get the same effect as if you have the strategy down right and using the technique and the layers in the proper order. We go over all this in this painting. It's a fun one to create, and you do this whole painting with just 4 colors. So if you like to paint with a limited palette or want to learn how to paint with a limited palette and you enjoy painting adorable animals and watercolors, then this would be a fun course for you.